Tyler, is that a locker over your back shoulder?
Yep, got it.
It is. It is. That is from when I was a kid. It's a Chicago Bulls locker. There was a basketball player, a little-known basketball player named Michael Jordan that I was a big fan of. Some might say obsessed. So I got a locker, and it made me just as good of a basketball player as him. That's all it took was just buying a locker. It's crazy. Bought the locker, bought the shoes. I was good to go. I'm kidding. I didn't buy any Jordan shoes when I was a kid. But yeah, it's a locker. My wife said it has to come out because it's what she calls ugly. And I was just like, you're ugly. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. She's pretty. I'm kidding. She's fine. Okay. It's whatever. But yeah, I'm going to probably have to remove it.
Isn't it your office though? Or is it
Yes.
the family's office?
It is my office, and I like where your head's at, and I have used that rebuttal. It just didn't land like I thought it would, you know? That's what I thought. Like I was like, I think it's on the shelves is good. I'll tell you this, it's been in there a year. So we're just kind of hoping she forgets it's there. You know what I mean? Just kind of you guys can see it. So can you guys see that poster right there, that Michael Jordan poster?
Mm-hmm.
So my buddy bought that at a card shop that like shut down in the 90s and reopened a couple years ago. And he went in and there was a bunch of old posters from the 90s. He bought them all. They're like $5-10 each. He bought a ton of them. I shot a video for him and he gave me that. That poster, the last one that they had on eBay, sold for $440. And so I was like, do I sell it or do I keep it? And I was like, you know what? Let that just be like the low-key flex in my office that I don't talk about. But now I'm talking about it, so it's ruined everything. I'm gonna have to sell it on eBay. So that's it. I don't think anything else I own is worth anything. But okay, are y'all ready to start? Do we feel good? Does everybody feel good? Mary Jane, are we good, or will you allow it? It's up to you. It's whatever you want.
We are good. You are good to go.
Okay. Do you want me to keep talking about Michael Jordan paraphernalia from the 90s, or do you want me to talk about Google stuff?
Well, you know, Michael Jordan, it's pretty good.
I like your heads. What if we just watched The Last Dance? Like, it was like, hey, we're going to do a Google PD. You guys get in, and we're all like, no, just kidding. We're going to watch Netflix. That would actually be kind of like pretty sick. Pretty sick. Okay, sweet. I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to get rolling. Okay. Where are you, little buddy? Okie dokie. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you can you guys see the presentation? Can y'all see this slideshow? Awesome. I would highly recommend either on your phone or in another tab, go to this presentation. It's, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I made the short link active. Hold on a second. Bitly is great because, especially if it's something, oh no, wait, I did create it. So does it go to the presentation when you type that in? When you type in Google Time Hacks 2, does it go to the slideshow? Type in bit.ly/Google Time Hacks 2. It does work? Okay, great. See, I was just downgrading myself and I didn't need to, I guess. So with short links, I'll continue this line of thought. Short links are fantastic, especially for things that you use frequently. So I have multiple presentations that I go through and use sometimes. And so what I'll do is I have a short link. That way, if I'm like somebody's asking for something, or if I'm like building something and I need to know the link, instead of me having to go to my Google Drive, find the presentation, go in, click share, copy, and then paste it, I do that one time in a short link and I can remember it. When I was at a district, I was the tech director, we had a ton of our like downloads and tutorials and tips like that saved as a bit.ly. So if a teacher's walking through the hall and they're like, how do I get the new Adobe Acrobat? I could be like, go to bit.ly/BXPS tech, and it would go as a great short link. So if there's stuff you use frequently or stuff you want to put on a Google Doc or something, and then you want a short link to the doc, that is a great time saver. Okay, sweet. Y'all feel good? Great start, best start ever. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll take it. All right, so the goal today is I want to talk to you guys about some different things you can do to document discipline, how to read and analyze that data that you get from your discipline to either make your class better, make your school better, or you can decide what professional development you need to focus on in the summer to help improve your teaching in the areas that you might be struggling. Okay. Do we have any principals in here? Any administrators? Okay, a couple of you guys, awesome. So I'm going to talk through the lens of teachers. However, this is a huge asset. Most of this is a huge asset for you as a principal if you institute it with your whole school. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to automate some things at the end if we have time. Which, I mean, we always have time. I never run over. Okay. So again, if you want to join the slideshow, go to bit.ly/Google Time Hacks 2. And the reason you should go there is because there are links to tutorials and templates in there. So that'll be super helpful for you. Okay, excellent. Who am I? I'm nobody. I'm a dude that taught high school math. I was a tech director. Then I was a principal of a school that had online, in-person, and hybrid learning. Did that for a couple years. And then that was 2013, whenever we did the 2020 model of education. And we did that in 2013 by choice. I mean, right? And then after that, I went to central office, director of curriculum instruction. And now I just have a bunch of YouTube videos and TikToks where I help teachers, and I'm the dean of a college. So there we go, the end. Enough of my miniature Wikipedia page. Okay, so slides 3 and 4, I'm not gonna walk you through this because we did last time, but slides 3 and 4, the idea, this is not for you now, this is for you to use with your classes. Whenever you assign a project or you assign something for students, I would always recommend that you take slide 3 and slide 4. Take those 2 slides, copy them, paste them at the front of that presentation, whatever it is, because they're going to be using Google products throughout the process of building whatever it is they're building for your class. This has tutorials for them on stuff they're probably going to hit and need help with. Okay. So I would, every time I do a presentation or do a project where a student has to build something either as a group or as an individual through a Google slide, I take these 2, I copy, I paste them in there. Okay. It's just a great way for you to give them the resources they need so that they don't submit, their assignment with nothing attached to it, which no students would ever do. None of y'all students would ever do that. Your students are incredible. They always attach all the docs they're supposed to attach, and they submit them on time. So I don't even need to tell you that, but there it is if you want it. Okay, just like we did last time, here's going to be the template for today. I'm going to give you 3 tips right at the beginning, 3 short tips to kind of make your life easier. I'm going to give you a resource, and then I'm going to give you a few templates and walkthroughs. So these will be quick at the front, but if you have any questions or thoughts or ideas, throw them at me. I love last time when you guys were throwing in input, ideas, things like that. It was great. I love it. So here we go. Okay, first tip of the day. You can organize your important links and documents and things with your bookmarks bar and save yourself time, frustration, and then navigating the maze of all the stuff you have. Okay, so sorry. So look up here. This right here at the top, this is my bookmarks bar. Can you guys see that? You can? Okay, I didn't know if it was just showing my slide, but as long as you can see this part at the top. Now here's the problem with your bookmarks bar. You can only get like 4 or 5 in there before you run out of room, correct? Watch this. Right here on this presentation, or how about this? We'll do my Gmail. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna go to edit. That allows me to change the name. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to delete the name, and then I'm gonna hit save. Now, instead of that whole long, like 2 or 3 words, I just have the icon. I can drag and move it around, and I can put a lot more links up here to where it's a shortcut to get there by shrinking that down to just the icon. Fun fact, that is actually called the favicon, F-A-V-I-C-O-N. That doesn't matter at all, but it's true. Okay.
Can you walk through that step one more time, please?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you for wanting me to, because I want to. So here we go. On this YouTube one, I'm going to take this and I want to shorten that link. So I'm going to right click on that bookmark. I'm going to go to edit. Now, anytime you put words on there, it's going to start chipping away at the room you have in your bar. So I'm just going to delete all of it. Delete the whole name, and then I'm going to save it. That's going to shrink it down to just this icon. So I went from no room, and you couldn't even see the last few, to now I have plenty of room to do, put plenty more in there. Now, here's the only issue you're going to have. Okay, guys, and I've got a workaround for this too. When you do short links to, like, say you have a team agenda that's in a Google Doc, and then you have a lesson plan template that's in a doc, and you have multiple things that are all docs or all slides or all sheets. Here's the problem. See this right here? This is a Google slide. I have to hover over it to see, well, it's only showing me the link. But if I make this one a short link as well, this Google slide, hit save, I don't know the difference between these two slides, which may be different slides. Here's what I recommend for that. You guys ready? Create folders. This is something I ignored up until like 2 months ago. And then somebody at a training was like, yeah, I do a lot of folders. I was like, nah, yeah, if I don't do it, it's not important. I didn't say that, but I thought that in my head. And then I did folders, and I will never regret it. I am so stupid for not thinking this is important. Y'all ready? You can right click on it, click add folder. Where's my folder? Where is it? I just added the folder. Add folder. There it is. Okay. Then let's title it. Say you have multiple lesson plans for different like modules that are all in docs. You could put lesson plans, or I would actually just put LPs because that'll save you space. LPs. Hit save. Now I can just drag those lesson plans into that folder. And now when I click on it, I can see it. Now I need to put the name back on them, but oh no, didn't mean to go there. Now what I can do is I can click on them and save those. So I have, I'm in school right now. So when I click on my school heading, it's got like 6 of the main documents I need to work out of. Documents, slides, sheets, all that. So you can organize it however you want, but if you organize it into folders, you're gonna have so much more space for all those short links. Some things that I really recommend you put in those is, sorry, this is not I gotta hit back because it went to the presentation next in. Oh my gosh, what are you doing, Tyler? There it is. Okay, so what I recommend, if you have like a disciplined Google form like we're gonna do today, or if you have like templates for lesson plans or some like key lesson plans you use frequently, make those short links because there is nothing more annoying to navigating your Google Drive, okay? And I have an organized Google Drive, but I still cannot stand going through it just because I'm like, okay, click, expand, double click, scroll, double click, scroll, click, open. It's like there's like 5, 6 clicks of pages I have to go through just to get to the one thing I use 98% of the time. So put it in the bookmarks bar, make it easier on you to find and navigate and get to. That's my recommendation, okay? All right, I'm gonna take this as you all promise you're gonna do that because it'll make everybody's life easier, okay? Sweet. Now, second tip of the day, okay? Talk to text. Has anybody ever used this in Google Docs? Okay, about half of you guys. This is great for you, but it's also great for your students. Your students, some of them might not be strong typers. They might not be fast enough to write like a full paragraph, in a short amount of time in class. Others might not know how to actually spell because you teach kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade, and they don't know how to spell things. You can go in here and create a doc or be in a doc. See if it'll sign me in. Come on. Oh, cool. All right. Close your eyes, everybody. I'm kidding. I won't show it. But yeah, definitely close your eyes. What is my password? Did you see that? Don't you lie to me. Did y'all see that? Oh my goodness. You're going to steal my social security now. You're going to take my identity. I have to move out of my house. They won't even know who I am. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Okay. We're in. Y'all ready? Actually, I'm going to throw another little tip in here while we're here. So in a Google Doc, if you're writing in it, usually you put whatever the doc's about at the top. So you could just say, team meeting agenda. And then I start typing. Watch this. Do you see in the upper left where it says untitled document? Does anybody in here besides me have a ton of these in their Google Drive? It's like, I have, this is titled, this is titled, this is titled. And then there's like 8,000 untitled documents. And I'm like, ugh, I'll just use the search. Okay. If you type a header on your paper, all you have to do is click up here. Watch this. I'm just clicking. It fills it in with whatever the first thing you wrote was. So it's a quick way to give a title. And then I can always go back and change it if I need to, but it's a quick way to do that. Okay, let's ready. I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but here we go. We're going to go to tools. I'm going to go to voice typing. Now I'm just going to click on this. Now when I start talking, it just starts filling in all the information. This is a great way for your students to get a lot written if they have to do something and they don't know how to type or spell or do anything. We know that those students know how to talk because they do that in class all the time. And so we can have them speak and do all this. And this is always the part where the English teachers started getting frustrated. They start itching under their skin because they're like, Tyler, this is a very long sentence and you need to end it at some point. Well, when you're using this voice command, you can just say period. And then that ends the sentence, exclamation point. Does it not, question mark? Next paragraph. New paragraph. There it is. Did it. New paragraph. That's the one. So those are some shortcuts. Oh, I said it again. That's unfortunate. That new paragraph, it'll get you every time. Can't stop, won't stop with the new paragraph. It just keeps doing it. Okay, I'm done. I did that on purpose. Okay, there you go. They also have different languages. If you teach a different language, you can click up here and choose different languages to speak, and it'll do all the text work. So that's tip number 2. I don't know why I sing. I'm sorry. A lot of people always hit me up afterwards like, Tyler, how do you get such a beautiful singing voice? Practice. That's all it is, guys. You just got to stay consistent. About 2 hours a day, I dedicate to my amazing voice. That's how I just do this anytime I want. Like a female Creed. That's what I go for. Okay, so let's do tip of the day. I put number 2, but this is number 2. Okay, let's do number 3. Awesome. Does anybody have Google Voice? Anybody got Google Voice? 1 and 2, a few of you guys? Awesome. Okay. All right. So Google Voice is an app, an add-on, a thing that Google has. It is a free service, and it is a way for you to give a phone number to either your parents, the parents, or the students in your class, and they don't have your actual number. So if you get like a crazy parent calling you like 2 a.m., be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, it's 2 a.m. I'm not talking to you. That's what I'm doing. All right. And then when they do that, you can change the number. If you get a crazy parent, change it to something new. It's free, and you can keep swapping numbers. Okay. So I want to show you another feature on here. I don't know if you guys knew this. So this is what I need. Zach, do you have your phone on you? Okay. Can you call this number in the bottom right-hand corner? 501-288-9349. Just Zach. If all y'all call me, my phone might just start melting. Okay. So call that, and I'm going to put him on speakerphone. So don't cuss, Zach. I know you want to cuss, but don't cuss. Okay. I want to show you a little trick on here. So I download the app on my phone, and then when I get calls, it goes through my phone that is connected to, my real phone number. Okay, here it is. All right. So I'm going to put on speakerphone. Okay, Zach, say something if you will.
Say something.
Perfect. Okay, can y'all hear that? Okay. Watch what happens when I hit the number 4.
This call is now being recorded.
Did y'all hear that? Yeah, Zach heard it on his end as well. Okay, Zach, I'm hanging up on you. You did great. Excellent. Everybody give Zach a hand. Round of applause. See, you get it? I'm sorry. The one we did in high school was, I give you my seal of approval. Okay, I was dumb. I'm so sorry, everybody. This is my formal apology. Okay, so with Google Voice, if they call you and a parent starts getting riled up, they're like, let me tell you something. I don't know if y'all get a lot of people with that accent up where you are. I get a few of those down here. So they're like, let me tell you something. You're going to have to get my kid. And I'll go, hey, could you hold on 1 second? I hit the number 4. That voice goes on both ends, their side and my side. It says, this call is now being recorded. And I go, hey, I'm sorry, we have to record these calls for, for customer satisfaction, whatever. What does the company say? This is to ensure quality, quality customer care. We just say, hey, we record all of our calls. Then it records. First off, their tone is going to change. But number 2, if it doesn't, or even, if it's just a conversation, it records the whole conversation. And then all you have to do is hang up the phone. It is going to email you the audio file from that entire conversation after you hit number 4. So honestly, guys, I don't even wait for the parent to be mad. If I have one of these numbers and I'm getting a call through that number, I hit the number 4 as soon as I answer. This call is now being recorded. Students, parents, other teachers, whoever, I'm documenting it. Am I ever going to go back and listen to it? No, probably not. But can I if I need to? Absolutely, I can. Some kid's like, they said this to me on the phone. I promise, Dad. I can go, hey, Dad, here's the audio transcript. You can go listen to the entire thing yourself. This is what we talked about. And then that's a good way to have your own back. Okay? Cool. We good? Y'all feel good? Why am I doing this with my hands? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. All right. So is anybody in here a Google Level 1 educator? Anybody? Okay. Guess what? You can be, and I recommend you should be. Okay. And here's the reason. The survey we just took, that's pretty synonymous with like every interview I've ever done. I've interviewed over 200 teachers. I think I've maybe had one or two raise their hand and said that they have done this, like been Google certified educator. And we all use Google more than almost any other program. Okay. So the resource I want to hand you today, it is a Google Doc. So first off, let me show you these 4 things real quick. So level 1 educator is what we're talking about right now. That's the one I've got the box around. That is it's like a 3-hour test, and it costs, I want to say $10. So it's a $10, it's 3 hours. It's honestly, if you feel pretty comfortable using Google, like navigating Google, I bet you could probably do pretty well or pass it. But if you want to know if you're going to pass it, I've got a resource for you today. Okay. Now, after you pass that, you can do the level 2 exam, which I think is $25. It's another 3-hour test. It's like the first one, but it's been working out a little bit. Okay. Flexing on them a little bit of steroids. Okay. And then after you have both of those, you can apply to be a trainer or an innovator or both. I recommend both. Okay. So let's look at the resource. So let's say you do, you're like, you know what, Tyler, I think I might want to be a Google level 1 educator. What do I need to know on the exam? Click this Google thing that says Google Doc. So what I did was I took a list. It's a checklist by a Google trainer named Eric Kurtz. He's out of Ohio. And he made a checklist of all these skills you need to know. So what I did was I went in and took his checklist, and I added a couple that I noticed through taking the test. But then I also made quick video tutorials for every single one of the things you need to know for the exam. Okay. So you could take this checklist, just start at the top under Google Drive, creating files. You can go, you know what? I know how to create files. So you can check the box. I think you can check. Can't you check that? Nope, that's not how you do that. There's a way to check the box. What is it? Right click. There it is. Yeah. You can fill it in. I can just make it a dark box to say I know how to do that. Okay. So it's a good way to check it. Now, well, you can say, I know how to access files, organizing files. You know what? I don't know how to organize files. You could click on this, go to the link, and it's a 3-minute or less quick video tutorial that I made on how to do whatever it is. That's not me. This is an ad. Okay. It's a quick video on how to do whatever that tip is. So you could work your way down the list. And then after you got to the end, you probably would do fairly well on the exam. If not, just make 100% and get hired at Google and make millions of dollars. Only 2 options. Okay. So why do we think, like, just because Google's worth a lot of money, they don't pay all their employees a lot of money. I just, like, if somebody says, I'll work at Google, I'm like, oh, you're a millionaire. Like, they probably just pay like the main people that much, right? It's fine. I don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know until one of y'all does, so well in this exam, they hire you. So anyways, there's a video of me walking through how to do whatever it is I just clicked on. So that checklist right there would be I think it could help you just as, like, even if you don't want to take the exam, it might be a good resource for you to stick in your Google Classroom for you and your students or whoever to be able to go to if they need to find how to do something. Do you guys know how to quick search in like a Google Doc? Do y'all know how to do that? Most of you, I'm assuming, do. If not, I'm going to show you. If you're on a Mac, it's Command F. If you are on like a Chromebook or a PC, it's Control F. So if I hit Command F, it does that little search thing in the upper right. So now I can search, and instead of me like navigating through it, I could be like, no, I just want to know how to, add assignments. So I can just type in assignments, and it'll hit the down button. It'll go and show me where all the things that say assignments are. So it's a quick way to navigate this if you need to know how to do something. So there you go. There's another, look at that, tips on tips on tips. So there's that if you want it. Another way, if you wanted to do this checklist. Oh, sorry, let me say this before I move on. Right here, I've got a link. This is a link to where you can take the educator exam. So instead of you having to like Google it and find it, I put a link in there. I don't get commission if you click that link. It's just a link. Okay, I'm just trying to make it easier on you. And then if you don't, I'll say this is not commission because I don't get paid for this. But if you want, say you do use this and you go in to take the exam, and you don't have like somebody else that's trained you, you can use my trainer ID. It's right here. It just makes me look like I'm doing what they asked me to do. And I don't know if they ever look at it or not, but it's whatever. One of my good friends, he actually was this is a few years ago. He had the second most people pass the trainer exam out of anybody in the country. And so he got like a free like trip to ISTE or something for it. Mary Jane, what's up? Do I have a question? Yeah, did I say something?
Yeah, you have a question in the chat.
Oh, oh my
Um,
goodness. I'm not even looking at the chat. I'm the worst. Oh
Oh,
my
you're
goodness.
fine.
If you want to fire me right now, I understand. I'm so sorry, everybody. I deserve it. I'm so sorry. Let me pull my chat up. Okay, let's see. Y'all, okay, like 20 things in the chat. Wow. Okay, Tyler. Hashtag be better. You know what I mean? Okay.
You're fine, Tyler. She just asked if Google had a certification for high schoolers.
Yes, yes, they do. Okay, let me see. So they just added this like a few months ago. Let me see. Google.
It's in the chat, Tyler. I got it there already.
Oh my goodness, Zach, thank you. That's why I chose you to call me. It's because I knew that would come in handy.
I don't know if it's the right one, but the one that I found real quick when I saw that question in the chat is the Google Workspace certification. It's not an education thing. It's just, it basically sounds like everything that it is for educators, but just a general Google Workspace certification. It looked like the test was like $75 when I glanced. Just
Okay.
like I was in there for less than 10 seconds. So if it's not the right thing, I'm sorry, but it looked like an answer to the question.
I think that is the correct answer. So I'm reading it. So yeah, that's exactly what this is. They have training videos, or you can use like the ones I have too, which, you know, they're not as good, but you know, they're there. And so you could use this. And I think the idea was for them was to, the idea for training the students was that they could leave high school with this certification and take that into the workplace. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Google is making a large push to do affordable trainings and certifications for a variety of careers and skill sets. And, you know, college is always going to have its place, but there are many companies and organizations that are trying to build certificates for, honestly, most of the time, a lot less money and a lot quicker to get. And it's people can walk into the workplace and hand over, as opposed to like an associate's or bachelor's degree. And so this is one of Google's that they have for students for certification. So, sorry. So Debbie asked that is a great idea. You know, it would be cool too if you wanted to. I don't know if they have like some sort of thing that would filter them out, but if you like, say you ran like a tech program and you had students in your tech program at your school, because if you're one-to-one on Chromebooks, it's good to have like a tech team of students that can go around and fix and repair and help. If you're doing that, it would be really cool if you got the students to go in and take this or take like the educator exam. How much of an encouragement would that be to teachers if like there's like 20 students in the school that have the Google Certified Educator Level 1 exam passed? That, I don't know, that would motivate me. But then again, I just want to be better than kids. That's it. Am I smarter than fifth grader? No, but I want to be. Okay, great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not reading your comments. Hey, what's not free? Zach, what were you talking about?
I can't speak for every single district, but most of us are managed by the same tech people. So I'm going to assume that what I'm saying is the same for everyone in this call-ish. Google Voice is not part of our activated Google apps in our suite of available tools. And I've called the tech department point blank and asked them to turn it on because I knew what you could do with it. And they were like, Google wants X amount of money for us to turn this on and have access to it, and we're not going to do that. So if you want to use Google Voice, what I have settled on is you just need to connect it to your personal Gmail account and create that number and then share that with your parents. And it works, like everything that Tyler says you can do with it, it works. It's just not managed through your school G Suite. It's just part of your free personal Google app stuff, but you still don't have to give them your real phone, and you can use Google Voice on your phone to filter those calls. And I think you can even, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can set a time on that Google Voice number. So like after 7 o'clock, it don't matter if they call, it won't even ring. It just sends them straight to voicemail.
And it records that voicemail and emails it to you. So, It used to, I don't know if it still does, but it used to actually transcribe, like it would do the whole conversation or it would transcribe the voicemail. I don't know if it still does, but it used to do that. So that's exactly what I was going to recommend. If it's not turned on for your district, just do it with your personal Gmail account. And then if you ever need to, you can just go in and forward those conversations over to your principal or whoever needs it if you need to. So thank you, Zach. Excellent.
The other thing that's
Excellent.
hard out here too is like, it was years ago when I set mine up, so it may be better now. I think the closest local number I could get when I set mine up the first time was like Bend, Oregon or whatever. And so those of you on the call will know how far away that is.
Pretty far for me.
I was just, right. I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Most people calling this probably are using a cell phone anyway. And so it won't matter that it's a long distance call and not local. But you're not probably going to get a Boise number, I guess is my thought on if you went to set one up today. I could be wrong on that, but.
I think you're right. Somebody asked a good question, says, are there any data limits with your personal account? I think that you're only limited by the amount of storage in your Google Drive. So unless it's changed, I think you're given like 30 gigs to share between your Gmail and your personal drive. And so when you do those, they don't take up a ton of space and it'll just save in your drive. So honestly, unless you have like a lot of videos saved in your Google Drive, you'll never fill it up, man. And it's just, you just won't. So
Just
that's
buy
a great
Pixel. I mean, we all love Google, so use the Google phone, and then they give you tons of extra storage.
Okay, low key, I have been so tempted. I love Apple. Like I'm an Apple distinguished educator. I love Apple. I have almost switched for the past few years to Google Pixel just because like everything else in my life. You have a Google Pixel?
That's my second one, dude. I love it.
So what about, okay, so here are the two reasons I don't. One is iMessage on my Mac because I can send text. And two is group text. Like I think all my friends might murder me if I do that because it's like so-and-so liked this text or, you know, all that. Does it do that?
It does, but it's kind of glitchy when
Okay.
especially when you have people on like the iProducts and you're part of that group chat, and sometimes stuff doesn't come through exactly right. But
Okay.
I'm too crazy googly to not. That was a
Same.
no-brainer for me. The first Pixel came out, and I was like, "Yep, I'm
done." See, in Google, like we have all Google Home stuff. So it's like all my stuff's integrated with Google. It's like only thing I don't switch over is like, I love my iPad and I love my phone. So those are my only two things, but it's going to happen someday. I just don't know when, you know what I mean? Nobody knows.
My biggest complaint with it, honestly, is I do a lot of like goofy video editing and stuff on a Mac, and
Oh yeah.
really nice to just airdrop those videos to the Mac instead of having to like download them from Google Photos and go through that whole process. I mean, you can work around it, but it's really nice to just walk in and go, boop, airdrop all of these and let's start.
Instead of uploading or something. Yeah, I could see that. Or having to get a card out. I'm with you. That is the great struggle is that all these companies, they kind of work together when they have to, but they would prefer you just use all their stuff because they want to make more money. So, okay. So there's that. Oh, I was going to tell you this. Right here where it says create your own copy, what I've done is I've taken that other doc, the one that you can go in and look at, and if you click this, it'll ask you to make a copy. You can make a copy, and instead of like checklisting, you could just delete it because it's your copy now. And you could go in and be like, I know how to do that, and delete it. And you kind of work your way down the list that way. So just another way to work that if that's your preferred workflow. Okay, sweet. All right, so, another last thing with the Google Voice. I got it about 10 years ago, and I actually got it to record podcasts. So it is a great way if like, I would be driving home and I would just tell my friend that I was going to interview. I'd be like, hey, call me at this number. They'd call me. I'd hit that button. This call's now being recorded. And we would just have a conversation. As soon as I hung up, it emails me the file. I drop it in and do a podcast. So if you are either doing your own podcast, a school podcast, or you have students that want to do a podcast, this is a really easy way that they could set that up and do podcasts. So, okay, you're ready? We're rolling into the Google Forms and Discipline and then hopefully Autocrat. So some of you, raise your hand if you have a Google form to record discipline for your classroom personally, just your classroom. Okay, a few of you guys. Raise your hand if your building uses a Google form for discipline. Okay, one or two. Do y'all do the triplicate forms? The piece of paper with the white, yellow, pink? Those are expensive. Tell your principal to give you the extra money that he was going to spend on that, and you just give him this form template, okay? Sound good? They'll love it. He, she, whoever it is, they'll love it. Okay? So, I'm going to walk through the one I used when I was a principal. But I've got a link right here. See where it says for you? If you click that, it's going to create your own. Okay. So I won't have access to it. It's not a FERPA violation. It's all yours. I do not have access, even though I made it. Okay. But I'm going to walk you through the one that let's create one. Then we'll look at the data. Okay. So you'll click that. You'll click make a copy. I recommend having this for your personal classroom. Some of you, I know you're like me, you're very efficient. You're trying to save time because it's like, well, I don't need to add this to my plate. It's not a requirement. This can have your back. This will have your back if you ever need to meet with a student, or if you send a student for multiple reasons, like say they do little things over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, and then you finally send them for another little thing to the principal. This gives context for what had happened in the previous 3 weeks. Somebody said SWIS. What is SWIS apps? I don't know what that is. Does everybody use that? No, just a couple people. Okay. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the forced copy is one of my favorites. Fun fact. Do you want me to show you real quick, if I haven't already, how to make a copy? Can I show you? Okay. So up here, I can show you on this form right here. School-wide information system, I think. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so if you're using something that you have to use, that's fine. But if you're not using something to record your own, even like verbal warnings, like small infractions, things that you wouldn't send them to the principal for, but you need to record, because when you meet with the parent, you don't want to be like, well, they kind of struggle in here. The parent's like, why? They have no discipline at all. And you're like, well, and you could show them a spreadsheet. It looks a lot better. So I'm going to show you how to make a copy, make a copy, and then we're going to roll in and look at this form, okay? Up here in the address bar, do you guys see the address? Fun fact, this is called the Omnibox. That's just another fun fact, okay? Over to the right, at some point you'll see the word edit, E-D-I-T. What you want to do is you want to take that from the E over, oops, I grabbed the slash, I don't want the slash. Grab the word edit, and if there's anything past that, you grab it too. Edit, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to write copy. So I'm going to write copy. Now I take that whole link, and then I can email that link. I can post it in Google Classroom. I can put it wherever I want. Now when people click on it, it is going to force them to make a copy of whatever it is you just sent them. So I take the word edit, delete it and anything to the right of it, and I write the word copy. Okay. Yes. And Zach, that was actually the next thing I was going to show. You can do the same thing with present in here. So I'm in edit here. So here's my slideshow. I'm going to find the word edit, and I'm going to change that to present. Now I hit enter, and it's going to go into a presentation mode of this document. So it is a really cool, quick way to convert these things over. So change edit to copy to send it, and they can make a copy, make a copy, or change it to present, and it turns into this slideshow. Awesome. Oh goodness, what's happening here? What did I just do? Get out. I don't want that live. Okay. All right. So you've made a copy of this discipline form. First thing you're going to want to do, probably, you don't want it to say Tarver Academy, helping the world's best student, blah, blah, blah. You're like, Tyler, that's fine. I'll take your discipline stuff, but I don't want your face on there. I don't blame you. Okay. So you're going to do is you're going to go to the upper right. You see the little Bob Ross painters palette thing. You're going to click on that. Then you're going to hit this X. That is going to delete that. Now, if you have, remember I talked about Canva last time, and I've got a link in my bio on my Instagram for Canva. You need to use Canva. It is awesome. You could go in and create something. If you wanted to create your own thing for your own class, do that in Canva. It's awesome. I'll drop the link in to the chat here in a second. So anyways, so you're going in and you're adjusting this discipline. Sure, you can put student name, which honestly what I would do is I would create a drop down of all your students. So do you guys have a list of all your students in a Google sheet anywhere? Does anybody have a list of their students? Can I show you a shortcut on getting those names in here? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Why not? Why not? Okay. So let's say, I think I've got a list of names in here. Greatest peeps on earth. Okay. I'm going to go in here. I've got all my students' names. Zach, I don't care about this Zach. You're the only Zach that matters. Zach Meyer, he means nothing to me, okay? You're the only one that I care about. So I'm going to select the top name on the spreadsheet. I'm going to let go. Then I'm going to hold the shift button, S-H-I-F-T, and then I'm going to click again. That is going to highlight everything in between. So I've selected the top one, I held shift, and I selected the bottom one, and that'll select everything in between. Now, I want to copy that. So if you're on a PC or a Chromebook, you're going to hit Control-C. On a Mac, I'm going to hit Command-C. Now, I can go back over to my Google form, click on, let's see, we'll do drop down, and then I just select in there, and I'm going to hit paste. It's automatically going to put those in there. This works not just for student names, but for anything that's in a Google Sheet. Google wants their stuff to be able to copy paste seamlessly across their platforms, okay? So they make it to where you can select all those, copy paste them in there. I would recommend this as opposed to typing them in every time, because it's going to connect your data. It'll link your data to that one student in there. So whenever you're doing it, there's not like it's spelled wrong or I put it just the last name. It's in there, okay? So there you go. You've got student names in there. You can click here and you can change your grades. Say you teach, ninth grade and 10th grade as well. Put that in there. Date of incident. I think that's good to have because yes, it timestamps it when you submit it, but sometimes we're busy. We can't write up the incident until like the next day. We want to put in, this is the date of the incident. So you can put that in there. Class period that it occurred. So this is whatever period it occurred. Teacher name, if I'm the only teacher connected to this, I put this. I know there's several groups, like there's a group of third grade teachers at my old school. They all share one of them. This is not for the principal, it's just for them. And they go in and they do this. That way they can see if little Johnny was being a terror in first period, but didn't go to the office. And then he acted up again in second period and then again in fifth period. They can go and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time to talk to little Johnny before he acts too crazy because he's getting a reset every class period. So teachers' names, if there's more than one. Then right here under behavior, these, you would probably want to go in and change these. I recommend make these the exact wording of whatever it is in your handbook. So I would go to your student handbook, get it out, go to the page. We always had to have like 2 pages of just like, here's what you do, here's the minimum punishment, here's the maximum punishment. I don't know if you guys have to do that, but you can go in and pull all the discipline, put it in here. That way, when you send it off to your principal, you can show directly where like what infraction they hit. It just makes it easier for the principal to be able to sort and find it, okay? Which I was the principal when I had this, so all my teachers had access to fill this out. So it's honestly like, if you're a principal, it's like the teachers are filling out this stuff for you. All you have to do is choose what the punishment is. Then I also tossed this in here, this positive behavior section. I think it's really important to record when students do stuff well. That way, when you talk to the parent, they're not like, you only noticed the bad stuff my kid did. No, like I've got 20 times where I saw when they were being a leader or they were showing leadership skills. I've got a whole other form for this, but I used to have it in here. So if you wanted, you could take this section and just hit delete if you wanted to have a separate form for it, but you don't have to. Teacher intervention, what did you do? Did you do a verbal warning, refer to the office? Which offense was it? Change student seat, different things. You can add in, say you have another one where you stand in the corner, okay? Hold a multitude of books. I did this my first year teaching. Don't ever do it. It's probably against all sorts of laws. But I had a kid, he was funny, he was in DH, and he wouldn't quit talking, so I made him stand there, and every time he talked, I added a book. It's terrible. I know, I could have gotten fired for it. It was so dumb, but he thought it was hilarious. Everybody thought it was funny, which makes it okay. I'm kidding, it doesn't. I became a principal, found out, I could have gotten in trouble for that. Don't do that, okay? So whatever your discipline stuff is, put it on there. I would add other in case you do something or react in a way that is not on your list. All right, and then at the end is describe the incident. So give like a 1-sentence recap of whatever happened, okay? Cool. So you've got your discipline sheet, you've built it out. Here's how we read that data, okay? I'm gonna show you, okay, this is actual data. You won't have access to this. So if you click on this and you have access, let me know because I'm breaking the law again. I'm probably breaking the law. Well, these kids are all graduated, so they're fine, or dropped out, depending on how many disciplines they have. Okay, so this is the discipline we used for my building whenever I was a principal, and I'm going to show you how we looked at the data and what we found out, okay? Okay, close your eyes real quick because it's going to pop up their names. Oof, that was close. That was close, guys. Don't rewind and pause it. Don't rewind and pause it. Okay, so we had 6th through 12th grade. From this, we had, as you can tell from the responses, I'm going to make this bigger. As you can tell from the response, we had 609 discipline issues that school year. Sorry. Now, Google automatically builds out these data charts for you. I didn't create these. Google built these. I can go into the spreadsheet because it also can go into a spreadsheet. All this fills in a spreadsheet. I could go in there, but this gives me a ton of the data at the end of the year to be able to make decisions based on our school's policies and decisions. So I'm going to kind of show you, and then I'm going to give you examples of decisions we made based on this data. All right. So right here, does anybody notice anything about the grades? Out of 7 classes, what do you notice? I'll wait. I'm here. I'll wait. Anybody?
9th grade looks interesting.
9th grade is on brand. It's like kids go from junior high to high school, and that transition year, they lose their stinking minds. It's like they don't put on deodorant. They don't respond to anything. They're trying to be cool, but they're still in that like awkward junior high stage. So it's like nothing makes sense. 9th grade, out of 7 classes, 9th grade was over a third of our discipline issues. What we did was, with this data, we went to the school board and said, look, we need someone who can focus on our 9th graders and help them be successful and transition to when their credits actually matter. They need to be able to transition to high school better. And so we were able to hire she ended up being half AP, half 9th grade counselor. And so we were able to hire someone based on this data because we could show, look, we're having issues here. And we didn't only do that. We also put all the 9th grade classes in one building and called it like a freshman academy. And it kind of helped give ownership. And they weren't around like the 10th graders as much trying to be cool or whatever. So those are some of the things we did based on this information. Next one, date of the incident. What it does is the darker the like date is, that's the more discipline issues we had that day. If you'll notice, they kind of ramped up towards the end of the school year, if you will. And like right here, April 28th, we had 15 issues that one day. So what did we do? Well, think about this. April, for us, I don't know what it is up there, but in Arkansas, that's the month we do all the state testing. So kids have been in testing all month. It's high pressure, high stress. Everybody's kind of like notched up a little bit. And also, it's been like a month at spring break. These kids are sick of looking at teachers' faces. Teachers are sick of looking at their face. Everybody's tired of everybody, okay? So you know what we did? That snow day that we had, and we had put it like the Friday before spring break so that Linda could go on a cruise. Instead, we moved that to late April and gave everybody like a Friday off unless we had snow. It's like, hey, let's just take a day, go home. It's a me day. Go to the spa, do your thing, okay? Let's chill. And so it helped us rearrange our snow days based on where we were having the most discipline issues. Next, class period that was occurring. Out of all of our class periods, second period was the most. What we noticed was a lot of those discipline issues were our junior high athletes that were getting to school at like 6 a.m. and they're playing sports and working off calories until, what was it? First period ended around, I don't know, like 8:50. So for like 2.5 hours plus, they're just running around doing stuff. And then they're expected to go into class, calm down, listen, be quiet, and watch me teach math, okay? So what we did was we actually extended second period by an extra 10 minutes. And we started pushing around and doing breakfast at the start of second period. We did grab and go breakfast. We had a little cart. We pushed it around between classes. People could get breakfast. It was a chance to like chill out, talk to the teacher, rest, like tone down a little bit, and then like eat like a breakfast burrito or something. So that was one of the things we did to transition out of that. And we would have known that had we not had this breakdown from this. From here, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, Mr. Smith had a lot of issues. Okay, Mr. Smith was our ALE teacher. I don't know if you guys have ALEs up there. It's alternative learning environment. It's kind of where you put students whenever they've met like the dream team of difficult students. They go in there and they hang out with Mr. Smith. So he had to record everything. Every instance he recorded, because a lot of these kids had either parole officers or they were going to truancy court, things like that. So he recorded everything. But if you didn't, that's kind of an anomaly. I could also look in here and see, okay, this teacher, they might have more issues. What can I do to put them in situations where they're not having to handle this much issues? Or in the summer, maybe I send them to a bunch of PDs about classroom management because they're having issues with handling them before they get sent to me. So what can we do? All right. Next, we go to behavior, roll through here. Okay, where are my big issues? Disruptive behavior. That's kind of like a general term for it. Computer violations. So do we look at some sort of safeguard on our computers so they can't go and search rando stuff, things like that? This looks like we had a lot of weapons violations. We did not. It just didn't show that this is trying to sleep in class. Okay, we had 0 weapons violations, thank goodness. 140. You'd be like, what kind of school is this? Okay, this is trying to sleep in class. You know what we did? We got standing desks in that classroom. This is Mr. Smith's class, so we got standing desks. A lot harder to fall asleep when you're standing up, okay? So there you go. Roll in. At our high school, we had a lot of issues with cell phones because we had a no cell phone policy. So what we did was we said, look, we are spending so much of our teachers' time and our principal's time handling cell phone issues. So what we're going to do, because their time is, their money, that's money. They could be doing something else, helping something else, growing in another way. We said, let's try something. So what we did was we told the students, we pulled them in the auditorium. We said, look, we are going to make a change for 9 weeks. Consider it like a preliminary trial period. You can have your cell phones between classes and at lunch. If you can stay off of them during class, and then you'll allow you to have them at those time periods. Students stepped up. We were clear in our communication. Our issues went way down because they knew they could check them in between classes. And our teachers weren't patrolling, wasting their time trying to find them, looking for those phones. So it was a way for us to try something, and we had the data to back it up. Teacher interventions, a lot of verbals, all this. So you can use all this information to help guide either your building or your classroom for the future. Now, I can't go to the spreadsheet because it would show all their names. But what you get is when you click that little green thing right there, all this is sorted into a spreadsheet. Now, with that spreadsheet, nope, not what I want to go to. With that spreadsheet, what you can do when you have parent-teacher conferences coming up, or if you have a student that hit like 10 or 15 discipline issues, but they're not like going to the principal, so the principal's not calling the parents, but there are issues. What you can do is you can go to their name, just click on a column, wherever their name is. You go to this little drop down, go to sort A to Z. Now I can say, let's pretend, okay, let's say, oh, sorry, Brittany, that's you. Okay, let's say that was all Brittany's issues. So I'm gonna take this, I can just copy, take that, hold shift, copy. I can go in and I can send an email to Brittany's mom real quick and say, hey, here's the issues we've had from Brittany over the past 3 weeks or the past 9 weeks or whatever it is, issues, then I can just paste that spreadsheet in there and I can send that to the parent. It's a super quick way to sort based on names. If you have parent-teacher conferences coming up, have your computer up, you can do this. You can sort by that kid's name, and then I can just click over here on this column, hold shift, click here, and I can right click and go to hide rows. That way they can't see all the other kids' issues. And each time a new parent comes in, I just sort, hide the rest of the rows, and then I can expand them back. Did everybody get that, or did I go too fast? Was that okay? You understand you can hide those rows, that way they're not seeing like, oh, well, what did Sally do? I know Sally's mom. She's the bad one. That Sally's she's a bad influence on my kid. My kid's never messed up. Okay, sweet. So that's the idea between the discipline. Make that a short link on your bookmarks bar so that you don't have to go find that form every time. You could go, there we go. Let me show you. So you could take that form, hit the little eyeball. You see this eyeball up here? That's called preview. You click that. That's going to take it to where I can fill out the form. And anytime, well, I don't have permission to this form anymore. You don't have permission. And what you can do is I can hit this little star, add it to my bookmarks folder under, I don't have a folder for it. So I would add a folder, choose another one, call this folder, discipline, new folder, discipline. And I want to drag it. That's not where I want it. That's whatever. I'm falling apart right now. Go here. There we go. New folder, discipline. There we go. Hit save. Now I've got a discipline folder and I can just click there and I could have it to where the first link goes to where I can fill out the form. The second link goes to where I can view the data. Third link goes to the spreadsheet. It's all under discipline. You could even short link to whatever your building uses so you don't have to go there. But I have heard of teachers creating like a student self-assessment form. So actually, Zach, I have one of those. I'm going to give it to you guys in like 2 slides. So if you want, I've got it. It's exactly what Zach's talking about in the chat is the best. Because right now you're thinking, so you're saying every time I do a verbal warning, I got to go fill this thing out? Maybe. Or you can do the thing I'm going to show you here in a second, have the students fill it out for themselves. So here we go. Keep rolling. Before we move to that, though, I want to show you this. This is a positive actions form. Like I said, parents, they don't want to just see where their kid messed up. So you can click here, go to make a copy. You say make a copy. Remember, I don't have access anymore. And this, remember, once you make a copy, it's yours. If you don't like the stuff I put in there, delete it. I don't care. Do whatever you want. It's yours. Use it, take it. Make it to where your life is easier. Okay, direct link is in the chat. Thank you, Mary Jane. You can change this. You don't need all these grades. If you only teach 1 grade, delete all this. You don't need it. But you can delete it, trim it down to whatever you need. So let's say you don't teach high school. So bam, 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 deleted. Okay? Date of the action, when they did it, class period, your teacher name, or if you share it with others. And then you just pick the actions. Were they adventurous? Did they ambitious? Were they determined? Were they insightful when you were talking about stuff? Whatever you need to utilize, like to show that that student was acting correctly that day, mark it, okay? Also, fun thing is at the end of the year, if you're doing awards for your students, this is a really good way to sort and see who actually did it. So like it's almost like you're tallying up throughout the year that these students like, hey, who was the most organized student in class? And you could sort it and then give an award at the end of the year. I used to do that, try to give out awards for qualities that are actually valuable in the workplace, as opposed to just like highest grade and most improved, which is the only 2 awards anyone ever gives. So there you go. That's that. If you would like it, you can make a copy and do that. Or if you want, you can always put that and combine it with your other one and put it all in the same form. Okay, so here's the thing that Zach referenced in the chat. He probably has a better version of it. This is actually, I don't think I have it sitting out, and I don't want to take time to dig through my locker. It's worth $175. What's up? So what I want to do is, when I was in the classroom, Google Forms does not exist. Okay, when I was in my like high school classroom. So what I would do is, if a student was acting up in my class, I would just write their initials at the top of the board. I didn't address them. I didn't say, "Hey, be quiet." This was my warning: was that initials on the board. Okay, I don't know if that's breaking rules for your district or whatever, but it was okay with mine. Then they would see it and they would know that because they knew my procedures, they would see it and know that's their warning, or another student would be like, "Hey buddy, you got your initials on the board." And then it was only ever confusing when I had 2 students with the same initials. And I'd be like, "Both of you guys are suspect." So whenever I do that, write that on the board, that's warning. If they acted up again in my class, what I would do while I was teaching, I did not address them. I didn't correct them. I would walk over, keep teaching, walk over and grab, it were these like salmon colored pieces of paper. And I would walk back to their desk and hand it to them, just set it on their desk. When they got that, they knew the procedure was that they had to fill that out before they left my class. They could not move on to their next class until they filled out this student self-reported discipline form. So it had 3 questions on it. Now I've converted it to a Google form right here. But the 3 questions, besides name and class period, was what were you doing? What should you have been doing? And what are you going to do to prevent this from happening in the future? So what you could do is take this Google form, same thing. You do it to where it automatically gets their email address so that they don't like type in their, kid they don't like's name and just report them as disciplined. It pulls their email. They would select their name from a list because they would match up. They select what class period it happened in. And then you have the 3 questions. What did you do to require to have this filled out? What should you have been doing? And what are you going to do to prevent this from happening in the future? Now, I always told my students, or I would if I had the Google form, because on mine I had signatures where they would sign it and I would sign it and we both date it. And then I'd have these forms at parent-teacher conferences. And the parents like, "My kid never did that." I go, "Well, here it is in your kid's own words. They actually wrote this." So now what I would do is I would make them let you look at it before they hit submit. Because a lot of times kids will just put like, "I don't know." They'll put IDK. "I don't know. I don't know what I did. I don't know why I'm in trouble." They're like yelling and throwing rocks in class. Like, "I don't know. I wouldn't do nothing." Whatever. Okay. So make them fill it out. Let you take a glance at it. If not, like there were multiple times I had to look at their paper and go, hey, I need more description than this. Or, hey, do you remember you were kind of also doing this? You know, try to make them think through what they were doing. They fill it out, boom. So what you could do, y'all ready? This is where I would put it. If I was you as a teacher, I would do this. I would go to preview. So that way, this is where they fill it out. I take that link. I go to my Google Classroom. I'll go under classwork. I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to create a material. Y'all see that? Material. Because I don't want to put a grade on this. I want this to be a resource they go to when I tell them to. Student discipline reporting. I need full sentences, accurate description. If you don't, or you lie, you go to Mordor. Okay, so you could do that, and then I just need to hit add. And actually, I don't even have to get that link earlier. I could just go here, go to my Google Drive, and I could just pull my Google form. Let's see. Come on, little buddy, pop up. There it is. Student reported discipline. Hit insert. Topic is going to be class resources. Hit post. Now, whenever a student acts up in class, I can just look at them and go, hey, go and fill out the student discipline form, because they would know where it is because I've explained to them. They would know to go to Google Classroom, go into that form and fill that out. And then I would check before they could leave class if they filled it out correctly. And that's a good way for your students to actually do the reporting for you. So you don't have to stop what you're doing. You don't have to type in your discipline. You could do all that and have the student do it for you. So that's an idea on how to do that. Cool.
Sometimes people don't realize too that the spreadsheet that he talked about creating from the form that he couldn't show us, that spreadsheet is 100% editable. So you could run this form exactly like he's describing, and then you could add a column to that spreadsheet that is where you go in and like sign the document and say, yeah, I verify this happened and this is an accurate account, and you just type it in the cell in the spreadsheet. And so then you have your own little follow-up with what the kid wrote. And that doesn't come from the form submission. You just add it into the spreadsheet afterwards so that you have access to it if you need it for something down the road.
That is fantastic advice, Zach. And I'm going to actually show it because it's such good advice. Y'all ready? So what I did was I went into my form. I went to the right side where that little green Google Sheets thing is, and I clicked on it. It created the sheet for me. There's nothing in here because we just made this. And I'm going to go up here to this column, and I want to right click, and I'm going to insert one to the left. And this will be, I'll call it teacher verification. Now, here's the issue. When you scroll over, what happens? You lose that column. Watch what you can do, guys. You can select that column, go to view, freeze, one column. Now it's going to stick that column because that's important, and it scrolls over and it stays there. So there's a good way for it to stay there. Whenever we had this, we would do student name. We put that one right here, and we would actually freeze the teacher verification, and we would freeze your name. So view, freeze, up to current column. Now the student name stays there and my teacher verification. Okay, so that's a good way to do this. And then I would actually, honestly, if I'm doing this, because Tyler likes color coding, I would do this. I would make this a different color. Let's see. I'm sorry, this is completely unnecessary, but I like it. So there we go. So I've got my blue column for me teacher verification. You could even do like conditional formatting to where anytime you typed in it, it automatically turned the cell green. So just an idea. Yeah, that freeze thing is an awesome feature for scrolling over. So I love that.
Just so I understand it right, the columns come in the order of the questions in the form.
Mm-hmm.
You just move the column.
Yep.
All
it's still
that
going to be attached.
It's going to come. So even if, I didn't know you could do that. Okay, thank you.
Yep. No, it's cool. No, it's a great question. So I don't know if you guys heard that. So the thought is I just moved the name column over. Like I moved that over. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to stick timestamp at the end. That's okay. It is still going to be attached to the form from the question. So it's not going to like, oh no, I moved it. So it's going to fill in based on what it was. It sticks with where it's supposed to go. So you can rearrange those columns anywhere you want. As they say in the song, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. There you go. So you've got it. actually don't I don't love that. So I'm going to change this. I know this is a form I'll never go in, but I'm changing this back. There we go. Teacher verification is okay. So just for you to know, yeah, there was really a student who filled it out, or did you review their answer? Either one. So honestly, Debbie, that's a great question. You could use teacher verification for whatever you want. I would probably use it as like, say you didn't tell your class like, hey, I need to look over it before you hit submit. Say they just hit submit, like, oh, they submitted it. Sorry. You could go over and look at it before they left class, look at it on the spreadsheet, and then you can verify that you agree with what they said. Because a lot of times students, only students, never adults, will kind of word things to where they don't look like they did something as bad as they, actually did. And so what you would go in is you could do teacher verification, or you could do, teacher viewpoint. And you could actually add in like a few words like they were disrupting, the whole class. They didn't mention that, but I can put it in there. So it's like anything you want to add to the information. So that's actually a really cool area. We used to have that as a principal. I had that column whenever I addressed the issue. And so I would add in, like, I had a column that wasn't in the form called, whatever their punishment was. So if I gave them like 3 days of ISS, I would put that in the form, in the spreadsheet afterwards. 3 days of ISS, and then parent contact. I would put like the name of the parent I contacted and when I contacted them. So it built a spreadsheet for me to prove, because sometimes parents are like, why'd you never call me whenever my kid acted up? I could show that I contacted them like 18 times, but they never answered their phone because they gave me a burner account. So excellent. Awesome. Okay, Samantha, you asked a great question, and I am going to get to that because we're going to run out of time if I don't. So I'm going to kind of jump there if I don't have anything else. Actually, I will skip to there if that's okay. This right here is a template for a student attendance check-in, check-out. So if you have students that are either in person or online, this is a good way for them to check in and check out of their work day to show when they're working. I know you guys might have a program that automatically records it. That's fine. But sometimes students will say, well, I was reading something and I wasn't on the website and it didn't mark that I was there. This is a way for them to go in and say, I'm starting my class, I'm starting my school day. And then they can go in and click it and say, I'm not. I'm checking out for the day. I'm done for the day. Thank you. Mary Jane tossed it in the chat. So if you want it, there it is. And I'm kind of speeding up because I want to get to Autocrat. Autocrat is a Google add-on that can save you a ton of time whenever you are creating or doing something. If there are any principals in here, if I ever told you to learn one thing on technology, learn Autocrat. It saved me. When I was at central office, this saved me a day a week of work, of just manually inputting things, recording things, converting things. When I was a principal, it saved me and my secretary so much time because it would automatically build everything I needed. So I'm going to show you. This is Get Autocrat. So if you click this, it takes you to where you can get the add-on. So if you click this, you just add this to your add-on, like to your, that's for my whole domain. I think I have it for here. Yeah, I've got it already installed. So you need to install it for yours. Then I've kind of built out a procedure that might help you, okay? So the first thing is create the form. So you're gonna make a form. This is a discipline form. It's the one that I showed you earlier. Have a discipline form, okay? Now, you could do this for discipline. You could do this for attendance, truancy. You could do it for, you could have it automatically send if they have, I don't know, technology needs, parent, I don't know, anything you want. You can automate this whole process for you, okay? So a good one would be automating it for student, like if students self-report their discipline, like we just talked about, you could have it to where it builds into its own document and then emails to the parents automatically every time they act up. So I'm going to show you. I know this sounds great. I know, I love it. I'm sorry. I'm going to change this to test run just so I know which one it is because I've got like 800 classroom forms. Okay. So I've got my discipline form and I'm going to create my spreadsheet. Now, while you can do this from forms to build this, Google Sheets is where the add-on is attached. Does that make sense? So it works with forms because forms filter into Google Sheets. That's why this add-on works, okay? So here's what we got. I'm gonna walk you through, we're gonna do kind of an abbreviated version, but You have to request it. Yeah, sometimes you do have to request this. If it's not approved with your domain administrator, you might have to email them and say, hey, can you approve AutoCrat? It's going to save me a lot of time. And if they say no, just fire them. Okay. So whenever you go to create letter, this is you would need to change this, but this is like a template for a classroom discipline letter. And so I just made it. You can make a copy of it. You can adjust it. I would recommend changing the letterhead from my Tarver Academy icon to whatever you want, your school's icon. I would probably change my signature unless you want me to sign off on all your discipline issues, which is fine, I will, okay? But you would change that bottom signature to make it look like your signature, and you're good to go, okay? This is the key to AutoCrat. Y'all ready? Do you see this spot right here where I have student name and these little dashes? Those little sideways V's, those are like, that is where you're capturing the stuff you want to autofill, okay? It took me a while to learn this because there weren't any tutorials out 7 years ago on how to do this. That's where you're wanting the questions from your sheet to autofill in there, okay? You can label them whatever you want. Like you could label this, it could be kid's name if you want. It can be whatever you want. I recommend labeling it whatever the question is that you are wanting to fill in, okay? Yes, this is very similar to how Word has mail merge. This is very similar to that, okay? And I had a meeting, like not a meeting, but like a conversation with somebody that worked at Google through like forums. I said, guys, you need to either create this or buy this from AutoCrat because it is incredible. They didn't listen. They don't care about me anymore, okay? So now we're gonna connect it. You ready? I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna do a quick walkthrough, but play with this. This is super great, guys, okay? So I'm gonna go to add-ons. From my Google Sheet, I'm going to go to add-ons. I'm going to go to AutoCrat, and I'm going to go to launch. Now, don't worry. If I go too fast, I've got a video walking through this that you can watch later. I just wanted to kind of go through this to show you so if you have questions. Okay? So it's loading up AutoCrat. I'm not going to have any AutoCrats on here because I've not created one. So I'm going to create a new job. And I'm going to call it discipline. Discipline, a lot of vowels. Hit next. Now, what I'm doing is I'm choosing the template that I want the information to fill in, to populate into, okay? So I need to grab that document that I just created, which is probably gonna pop up at the top because they go to the most recent. So I'm gonna go to copy of the classroom discipline. Now, this is now the document that it's attached to, okay? So I'm gonna hit next. If you title the stuff inside the little sideways V's, if you title it the exact same as your spreadsheet titles, it's automatically going to attach the tags. Do you see this? It's automatically attached it because I titled it the exact same. I could also click it and change it, okay? I don't want to change it because I want student name attached to student name. So I want it filling in from there, okay? So I do that and attach all those. Fun fact, when I first did this, the first time, I did not know that. And I was actually titling it 1, 2, 3. And I literally had to do like 20 trial runs to get the right tags attached. It was so stupid. I'm so dumb. Okay, hit next. File name. When you do this, it's going to create a Google Doc. I want it to be the student's name and then discipline. Okay, so I'm going to title it discipline, discipline. I can click this little bar over here and it pulls from my spreadsheet. I want to use student name. And then I want to put a dash and I want to do whatever the date was, date of incident. So that's how we're going to sort this. So think through, how do I want these files to go into my Google Drive? How do I want them to populate in there? Because yes, you can send an email, but it's still going to save it into your Google Drive. I hit next. I want it to go into my drive. That's fine. Yeah, and it titles it whatever they fill in. So they're actually filling in the title of it too. So let's go to this. Let's go to, I need to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it discipline. Discipline. Or somebody's typed discipline like 18 times. I should be quicker at spelling that. So I've created that folder. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete. I don't want it to go just into my drive. I want it to go into my discipline folder. Because if not, you're gonna end up with a ton of stuff in your folder. So discipline, boom. So now they're gonna file into this one folder. Hit next. There is a way to have folders. So if you figure out how to do dynamic folders, call me. I've tried. I've spent so many hours over the past 7 years trying to figure out how to have it filter into dynamic folders. I can't figure it out. I'm not smart enough. If you figure it out, tell me. You don't have to have it though, okay? But it would be cool because it could fill into folders based on the student. But you can always just sort by name. Set merge condition. I'm not going to add a condition. I want it to automatically merge as soon as a student submits it. But what you could do, so earlier Zach talked about teacher verification. What you can do is if you add that column, you could add a merge condition that if the column, teacher verification is not null, which means that as soon as I write something under teacher verification that says verify, it will send it based on that. That is the condition. It will not send an email or merge anything until that column is full. Now, we don't want to do that. We just want it to automatically do it whenever I hit submit, okay? I'm going to hit next, share the document. This is where it can automatically send the email. I'm going to say yes. You can choose for it to be an editable doc or a PDF, okay? I'm going to do an editable doc. That way I can go in and fill in whatever the discipline was that I gave them. Editable doc. Who does it go to? I just want it to go to me, so I could type in my email address. I could also CC the student's email. Nope. Student, where is it? I didn't have student email on here. You need to add student email on here if you wanted to add that, but you can do student email. So it could fill in and choose who it's being sent to based on what they put in there, okay? So you can do that. What is the subject? You just put discipline issue, and then I can choose the date of the incident, and then I could fill in. You can have it populate into the email as well. So we've got it populating from the form into the Google Doc. We could also have it populate in here. So I could do student name, what they did, not dad, what they did. I could have all the information in there. So student name goes here. And then I could actually describe the incident, put it right here. You could choose the date. You could put all the information in here as well if you wanted to. You could write out a paragraph to parents and have it autofill inside the paragraph. You can do whatever you want from this, okay, guys? The opportunities, like I'll show you examples here in a second of what I had, but hit next. How do you want, they call this the trigger. This is what triggers this thing to run. Do I want it to just run once every hour? Do I want it to run as soon as it's submitted? Or do I want to go in and run it manually myself? I just want it to run automatically as soon as it's submitted. And then boom. Actually, I need to go back because I did not add the right email. I need to put my Tyler@tarveracademy.com. Okay, so I'm gonna put both of those emails. Okay, great. I've still got this. Hit save. Okay, we're about to see what it looks like. Hopefully I didn't screw this up. Okay, here we go. Discipline. Now, from here, I could hit play and automatically run it if I want to, but I don't need to because I have nothing in there. Okay, and then I hit X. Now, I'm going to fill this form out. Let's see if it works. Okay, student name, Harry Potter. Harry Potter, he's in 7th grade. Date of incident, we'll say it's happening in the future. That's what the remember all said. We can say it's 4th period. I'm the teacher. Let's see, Harry was kind of a bully, straight up, if we're being real with you, and very disruptive. So we'll say those two. He had leadership skills, but we're not putting that in there. Teacher intervention, I referred him to the office. Dumbledore let him off because he's Dumbledore's favorite, okay? Harry, punched Malfoy in the face, okay? I'm gonna hit submit. Now, whenever I submit that discipline, that should go, everything worked correctly, boom. Okay, so it went into my spreadsheet here. You guys see the information? That's normal. That's just Google form goes into spreadsheets. If you scroll to the right, this right here is where it's merging your Autocrat. I didn't add these columns. Autocrat did, okay? So it says it successfully created the document. Let's see if it's already sent the email. Nope, that's what are the odds? A Harry Potter fan club email. That's not from this. It's just there. What in the world, Tyler? Okay, sometimes it takes it. There it is. Okay, it created it. So it automatically sent me an email from that to that student. I click this. It filled in the student name, what they did. Now I can click this discipline doc. It has my letterhead. It has my signature. Hello, parent or guardian. I wanted to inform you that Harry Potter has acted out of line with regards to our classroom discipline guidelines. The issue occurred on, it filled in the date. Your child chose to exhibit bullying and disruptive behavior. I apparently spelled disruptive wrong. That's not great. And then this is not a behavior we permit in our classroom. To this, I responded with referred to the office. Okay, you would go in and change your terminology so that it flowed better, obviously, but that's the idea. Think of this with regards to attendance. If a student acts up in a Zoom class, if a student is disruptive, you could have it fill out these forms and you could have it sent to the parents. One way that we used to do it, we did not have it. When I was a principal, I did not have it to where it sent it straight to the parents. I would have it email it to me and my secretary and the teacher that did it. Then, because you can know the teacher would put in their email, so it automatically send to them as well. And so then I would go in, I would fill in whatever discipline I gave them, 3 days ISS. Teacher could see that, the secretary could see that, so she could input it in our system. And then I just forwarded that to the parents. All I had to do was find their email and forward it. You could go in and make a column, and that could be parent email. And when that column is not null, it automatically sends it. And so you could just select the parent's email from a list here, send it on. So you have a lot of options, but once you kind of get in here and play with it and try some stuff out, I think you're going to find that you can become so much more clear and consistent in your communication with your administrators, other teachers, students, parents, all of that. This is a great way to build that out. Zach in the chat said that he's done this on t-shirt orders, school fundraisers. Yes, I've used it. We used it for school awards. Instead of the awards that they give away at the end of the year, I had all the teachers fill out the form. It auto-populated into a form, and then we just printed them all off, and it had the student name, the teacher's name, and what they won. Start of the year spreadsheet turned into a student page with all their login passwords. Yes. Aaron. Oh, Aaron. Thanks, Aaron. Okay. Aaron tossed in the chat, if you text this number, 501-214-4071, it's not a Google Voice number. I'm not going to record your call. This is a program I pay for. It doesn't cost you guys anything. But anytime I make new resources like this or do a walk, say I do a live on YouTube, I'll text out to this number and say, hey, I'm going live in like 10 minutes. If you want to join, we're doing Canva. Or, hey, I just made this spreadsheet for this if you want to make a copy for yourself. It's a way for me to send out resources and stay communicated with you guys. Stay communicated. That's not the right term. Also, I'm actually sending one out later today. So if you want to text teacher to that number, I'm going to send out today. Last night, I made like 8 or 10 Google Classroom Christmas holiday headers that you can put in your Google Classroom. So I'm going to send those out today. It's just kind of fun that I made today if you want. Last things on here, if I'm walking through, we used to do this with professional development. I would have Autocrat build out professional development into Google Sheets, and then I could go in and communicate with the teacher and help them guide what they were doing for summer PD. Here is the video walkthrough of Autocrat if you need to go through and like step by step what we just did. This is how you can fill out an entire paragraph in Autocrat and have it fill in the information. That's what it can look like. And then if you're asking me, Tyler, what's your favorite thing you've ever done with Autocrat? I created a job application that was like a multi-page Google form that filled into a job application doc, emailed to principals, and then automatically sent out Google Forms to all the references. It was classy. It's whatever. I don't like to brag. It's whatever. I'll shut up. I'm sorry. Okay. Here's some more walkthroughs. And we had, I think, 5 extra minutes. I wanted 35 minutes. I got 5. So if there's any questions, thoughts, things that I can help you with, let me know. If you want to just look at those beautiful Christmas headers that I made that I'm going to send out later today to that number, you're more than welcome to do that. Any questions, thoughts, things I mentioned that you want to link to? Or you just like, Tyler, we just heard you talk for an hour and a half straight. I need a break. I'm tired of hearing myself talk, and I'm the one talking, so I know y'all feeling it. Okay? Thank you. I know, Shannon. I know it's a lot, and that's why like I try to make walkthroughs for each of these resources. And so a lot of them do have like the student discipline. I've got a walkthrough that's like a 30, 45-minute thing on how to set this up for your class. So I try to make walkthroughs that like really go step by step if anybody wants it. So if you don't see it on there, let me know. And if I don't have it, I'll make one for you. So I want to be a resource to you guys. Do not forget, there's a form in the chat. It's for you guys to fill it out to get your certificate for this. So if you want to get that certificate, do that. Everybody good? Y'all feeling good? Y'all ready for Christmas break? Everybody ready for that? Yeah.
Christmas break can't come too soon.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm with you. But this is a good time too. If you're starting a new semester, if you go, like, these are great things to start instituting at semester if you want like a clean shift. Also, and if you've been to the other stuff, I've got full semester like lesson plan templates and bell ringers, things like that. If you want, they're on my website, tarveracademy.com/resources. And if you have any questions, let me know. We've been rolling through and I've been kind of picking based on what your thoughts are. If there's something specific or a program you want to focus on, let me know. I think next, unless you guys have other interests, next week we're going to talk, or not next week. Is it next week? Next time we meet, we're talking about video stuff. So I want to talk through YouTube and creation and Zoom calls and videos and all that. And I'm doing my dissertation right now on how to engage learners in online educational videos. And so I'm hoping to share a lot of the stuff I'm learning from research studies and things that you can incorporate, and even templates for just like making a video for your class. So hopefully we'll talk about that. But if you guys want to talk about something else, that's cool. I love that. Let's do that. Just tell me. Okay, cool. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Does anybody want to cuss at me? You can.
I have a question. I just signed up at that phone number with teacher.
Yeah.
Make sure you click on the link above, but I'm not seeing a link.
Oh, is there a link below it? It might be a link below it.
I'm not seeing a link anywhere.
And then what that means is you may have already signed up with someone else who uses this. And if you have, then you won't have to do it again. Do you mind if I check and make sure you're in there?
Sure.
Is that cool while we're together?
Yep.
So Rachel Phillips?
Rochelle.
Rochelle, that's what I wanted to say, but I didn't want to be I didn't want to be wrong. I was so scared. Actually, my first guess was your name was Fourth, and I was gonna say that's a cool first name. But I didn't. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I don't see you in there. Yeah, no, it's not on there. So give it a second, it might pop up. If not, I also have an email list that I send stuff out to as well. You might not see all the lives, but some cell phone carriers block this stuff, but I have an email list as well. It is, can I give you a website real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, it's solo, SOLO.TO/Tyler. And there's like a little thing in there, like a little spot to fill in. Oh, cool. Zach put it in the chat. If you fill in, there's like there's a little spot at the top to put your email address in, and that puts you on my email list. And so anytime I make a resource, I toss it on there. So and plus some people don't like to get it on text. They'd rather just get the email. And so it's whatever you guys want. Thank you for asking. Also, if you guys don't, I don't know if any of you guys put links in like your bio or your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever. Solo is an awesome link in bio. And if you want, there's like a thing in my bio to where you click and go for it. So just throwing that out there. I know a lot of teachers put links for students in their bio, or they'll make like a short, because this could be just like a web page for them, and they'll make it as a quick link web page for parents. So it's cool. It's cool. Okay.
Good.
Thank you guys. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Concerns? Thank you guys. Thank y'all for paying attention. Y'all were lovely.